Okay, we have public participation for agenda related items. Do we have public participation for agenda related items, Donna?
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so my participation is for the excellence of education and the safety of my children. At in the Glenbard district, my children are in elementary district 41 as well as the district 87. I live in Glenbard Heights, so I'm very much concerned about pornographic books. They are not only visually pornographic, their text is very bad, very pornographic. I want the district to allocate significant amount of funds to review all the library books, any pornographic materials which is not science and technology. It should be removed on very urgent basis. And I want the board to bring the justice to the people who has overlooked all the principals who are supposed to sign on any of the books which are going to be included against the guidelines of the pornographic materials which are in the bylaws of the district. They should have been excluded, but they are ignored. So it is significant amount of negligence which has happened. It should be taken seriously. There is a wide campaign among the parents going on. Some parents can be violent. I'm not suggesting them they should, but this material is so violent that it is concerning to each and every parent of this district that it should be reviewed and removed, and appropriate justice should be served to the people who are accountable for that. Thank you.
Can we're going to get through public participation, so can we eliminate the clapping? I'm sorry.
Nothing. That's me. How is it your first name? Mabeen is my first name. Fatima. Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Nice to see you. Good evening. My name is Mabeen, and I have two kids going to Glenbard West, District 87. I am here as asserted by the other parents with regards to the concern with these books. These books do not have place in the library. We have children under 18, and we as parents would need to monitor as to what they can to a certain extent where the boundaries can be, starting from. Within the boundaries, it's us who have to see as prime responsible people. So this was addressed before. I'd like to know what the board has been doing or what steps have been taken in order to get these books reviewed and removed from the library. That's number one concern. And then we parents do not want to go just back and forth asking removal. We need to know what steps have been taken. Was anything addressed? Was this addressed with the school, with the department, with the chair, with the librarians? Or if we need to bring in more people to review the books that are already there in the shelves. So like one of the parent has just said, allocate some funds to do that, hire more people so that, we get to the root of this problem. And then we do not want to be just going back and forth, like I said. So what steps have been taken is something that we want to hear by next meeting. All right. And yes, a lot of things have been discussed before, but I believe this has been going nationwide. It has been going on in Texas, Utah, and I believe in Texas, Governor Abbott has he has directed the state agencies to look into the standards and gear up the standards of reviewing the books. This can go high. But here we are stressed out about our community. We are bringing forth the concerns of the community. This is directly affecting us. We could take it to the next level, but that would involve more time, more involvement. I know ideas are divided. People may or may not agree, to each its own, but it's our children that we are concerned about. My children may pass Glenbard and go forward, but there are some certain other children who are facing the problems. You know, they are not being watched by their parents because their parents are doing jobs. They cannot monitor the children, what they're doing. So under 18, this is not something that should be there in the libraries. We could give out contraceptives tomorrow. How do you like that? Would the board agree to that? Would the parents agree to that? Would the teachers agree to that? This is not what we are sending the students to the school for. You know, this is not required. If they want, they can go to the libraries, go elsewhere, but not the school. So it's my humble request. It's concerning a lot of parents. Like I tell my children, I did not put food on the table to my children today because I had to come here. We had to bring forward the biggest concern and the dangers lurking out there. We are protecting children from whatnot, but this is like, pushed in. Your child cannot unsee what they have already seen. They cannot unread what they have already read. So please save us and save our children. That is all I want to say. And next time when we are here, please have a response on this topic. That's all I can ask for now. Thank you so much.
Either why.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Monica Moro. I am a parent of a senior at Glenbard East. I just like to ask if we can unite in a mission that I believe we have in common, and that is raising our children right, educating them right, and introducing the right concepts at the right time. We have all minor children in high schools. There are really few who are over the age of 18, and they've been exposed to, I would say, material that is prohibited by the rules, by the policies, and even by state laws. So right now we are in violence or in violation of a state law, and we shouldn't take it lightly. I know that rules are important. I know that procedures and due process are important. This is to help us maintain structure and some order, but we also have to be flexible. Please don't make parents work hard for mistakes, to correct mistakes that were made by paid professionals, and they're paid by the community from our taxes. We appreciate the board being, here on their free time. We appreciate your volunteering, but also you were entrusted to represent the community, and we like to see results. We can talk here for years and decades about what is right and what is wrong. We know what is right and what is wrong, and we have to lead our kids in the right direction. We have to distinguish between respecting all and between enabling and promoting behavior that is not considered healthy. And this is exactly what pornography is about. I think that we all agree on that. And please don't make parents jump through hoops of policies. We need to act because policies are taking time, and it's time wasted because more and more kids have access to this. If somebody makes a mistake, I think that it takes some guts to admit, well, we made a mistake, what we can do to correct it, and what we can do in the future to avoid making the same mistakes. We learn through mistakes. That's all right. We are humans. Okay, let's admit it. The kids have to know that we adults are making mistakes too. This is what makes us being respected. Okay, so I'd like to see action. Words are words. I'd like to see actions. Whoever made a mistake, please, hands in the air, say, okay, what we, the paid staff, can do now to undo it, to remove the books and to make sure that it will not happen ever again. Let's unite in this. Thank you.
Sorry, what was that?
Hi, this mic is, I think.
Yes,
it's working.
if you're close to it, we can hear you.
So, hi, my name is Kasser Chishti. I am here representing my daughter. They go to this Glenbard Community School, Glenbard West particularly, and I'm really concerned when I knew about when I get to know about this issue that in the school library there are some books which are not appropriate for the 18, like the minor kids. So that's where we came and raised our concerns. So first question is like what, and you can answer later, like what did you guys do since last time to investigate this issue? And then maybe we need to find out, is there any anything missing in the process? Maybe we need to revise the process of reviewing the books, or do we need more resources, appropriate resources? Or do you think that this is based on the procedure or the rules, this kind of content should be in the school? Then we need to know that. Then we need to discuss that and fix it. So, because from my understanding and our community understanding, these kind of books should not be age appropriate for these kids, and they need to be removed. And when we were discussing this in our home, and now we are all the communities getting awareness, the other danger is that these the kids are, if they find out, they will now be interested to go and see the books, what's in that book that my parents and my community fighting for or trying to get removed. So this is getting needed attention for the kids also. So we need to get this issue resolved as soon as possible. At the same time, we need to review the process. We need to review the criteria, and then what happened here. We need to fix that so that it doesn't happen again in the future. So because many people, when they see this kind of thing, they will, and if there's no resolution, they will also take their kids to private schools, and they get out of this public school community, which should not be the case, because there's a lot of benefits staying within the community and interacting with other people and groups. And we do respect other people's ideas and ideology, that whatever you believe in, it's fine. Everybody has a right to do that. So, and getting to know each other and knowing the values of each other and to respect each other is fine also. But then giving access to something which is not even appropriate throughout the world, like it's under plus this content, what was shown to us, it's plus 18 content, it's adult content, and even pornographic in a way. So even if when plus 18 people are going to these kind of websites, they say that, are you 18 plus? There are certain warnings, there are certain procedures. Here, the kids have access to this without any stoppage. So that's very concernful for us. So please do look into this and have some resolution as soon as possible. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I watched the last Board of Education meeting online. Glenbard parents respectfully brought up their concerns about inappropriate and pornographic books in the Glenbard libraries. I agree that the books Flamer, Genderqueer, All Boys Aren't Blue, and This Book is Gay do not belong in our school libraries, and they violate many District 87 policies. I wonder who approved these books. I wonder, is this part of the diversity, inclusion, and equity goals of Glenbard? Another concern I have is that although many parents voiced concerns about these books at the last meeting, none of the parent comments are in the minutes from that meeting. I also wonder why Glenbard is not being transparent and is not sharing parent concerns with the Glenbard community.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good evening.
The microphone.
Thank you. The name of Allah was most merciful and beneficent. So it's very unfortunate. I missed last meeting, but online, I happened to see this meeting. So it was really shocking seeing this. I mean, hostile and inappropriate, books. They are being available in the kids' library. It's very unfortunate. We never had this trouble with our elder kids. The two sons, they went to Glenbard East, graduated from here. Now they have done their graduation, their workforce. So mashallah, they are doing great. So no, I have the youngest kid now. He's in Glenbard South. So to him available these things, this such stuff in the library. I mean, libraries, they are the, paradise for the readers. And if such stuff is there, so it's really ironical. This is really, very scary. The place where my youth still, I'm now 60, still, it's always my wish, which city I go to that library in that city and go and, read myself as well. So many books. So just want to share, I hope there's no young kid here. So yesterday, by chance, I was just, there's a video going on. They were talking, a young group. So they were talking different topics, of our interest of this age. When social media is bombarding, nothing is in control. So they are talking about one of the serial killer in America. So if I'm wrong, please correct me, who killed like 55 ladies, unfortunately. and he had a definite death sentence. And before, like a couple of minutes before dying, he said, I want to share something with you guys who are there in the court. So he said, let me tell you, I'm from a very conservative Christian family. And we had our parents, he said, my parents were very careful watching what we are doing, everything. But unfortunately, he said, I become addicted of pornography. And that finally made me do such a heinous crime. So I hope nobody here sitting here, we all are parents here. And no one like, God forbid, we can get into, finally end up like this. So this is, these elementary school, middle schools, they build up, the personalities, then they go with their life. Then these readers, they become the leaders of the tomorrow. So it is really my humble request, kindly please. This place should not be only just a discussion, and there should be some practical action must be taken as early as possible. I like to quote here, and defer no time, delays have dangerous hands. And another, this Hamlet line, I love to quote, and I'm going to end up with this line. That's last sentence. Okay, madness in great ones must not unwashed go. If parents are getting mad, it means there is something very serious. We love our schools. We love Glenbard East District. It's a wonderful place for the parents, for the student. It's always, for me, the best place to go. Always come to these schools, attend the different functions, the prize functions, honors, recognitions. Please, for God's sake, get out of this stuff. I really appreciate giving me a platform. Thank you.
Yeah, make sure
Hi.
you're closer.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
You guys hear now?
So,
Go on.
you can't hear me?
She's not talking yet, but
Okay.
the closer you get to the mic, the better you can hear. There you go.
Okay. So thank you for being here. I came to almost every board meeting in 2019. So I recognize some of you. Thank you, John, for your help with the religious exemption for the locker rooms. That was really great. And
the board meetings were always a little bit frustrating because I felt like I was listened to, but maybe not heard. And so I wanted to come back and share some thoughts. I'm a resident of this district. I have 2 teenage children that are no longer in public school, but I paid $3,000 in taxes, so I guess that gives me a right to speak. My daughter did go to Glenbard South her freshman year during 2020 when it was online, but we decided to leave public school after that for a variety of reasons. The children of these schools are entrusted to you, the adults in this that are overseeing the schools, the parents of these schools. The parents in these schools are trusting you, the board, the superintendent, the librarian, the principal, to protect our kids from pornography. I Googled the effects of pornography on teens, and here's what the research says about the impact of consistent porn used by teens. When teens view pornography, they develop unrealistic sexual beliefs and values, an overfocus and obsession on sex, sexually aggressive and permissive behaviors, early interest in sex, which leads to unwanted pregnancy, behavior problems in school, depression, alcohol, drug abuse, bonding issues with others, including parents. Pornography and sexual fantasy stunts brain growth. Exposure to porn can cause trauma and PTSD. And the more explicit the exposure, the more they need. So it becomes very addictive, making healthy relationships impossible. These books were a recent topic at the District 200 board meeting, and one of the board members said he thought these books would prevent suicides. But I can tell you that pornography never has or never will save somebody's life. It will mess it up big time. It'll put people in bondage. There's nothing redeeming about pornography for anyone, heterosexual or homosexual, let alone minors like our precious children. No lives are going to be saved by watching porn or reading porn. There are adults in this room that would agree with me. Please follow your own rules and guidelines and remove these books from the libraries. The kids don't need them. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Jamil Saeed. I have 2 boys. One graduated from Glenbard West a few years ago, and the second one is a senior. So I don't know if you guys are going to answer any questions, but discuss. I mean, I feel like using profanity, but I don't know how you guys feel about that. I'm guessing you guys won't allow it. Exactly. There's one point. Second thing is, I would like to ask is, what would happen if kids checked out these books and discussed it in class or in the school? Would they be punished for it? Would there be action taken against them? Because they didn't bring the book from outside. It was checked out from the library. So I mean, I really don't know what else to say. I mean, it's you guys are adults. I'm guessing there will be some sort of a consultation, some discussions, and then there'll be a decision made. I mean, when you know when something's wrong, you try to stop it immediately. You don't go into discussion. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
We're having a hard time hearing you. Is the mic working properly?
Yes, they got it. They gotta get closer to it.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Do you use a different mic, maybe?
Go ahead, you can see if they can hear you.
Hey,
Ready?
my name is Vasi Khan. I'm a resident of Glen Ellen. One of my kids is graduated last year from Glenbard West. My next term, they'll be graduating this year. This doesn't mean that I should be careless with the other kids of my community and my neighbor attending these Glenbard school and coming to the school. They're coming to school for studying what's supposed to be taught, and you all know why all these parents are here, what the concern is. So I'm not going to just repeat the same thing. Why not we all work together, parents and the board,
to nip in the bud of this issue and just done with it. You guys don't want to hear us every week, I'm sure. I mean, you guys have some other better things to do, and we all do as well. So let's just make a committee of the parents and the board or whoever you want, and we can work together and just done with it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Non-agenda.
Oh, non-agenda related? Oh, okay,
There you go.
Go ahead, yeah.
yeah.
Let's have Caroline Andrews.
Hi, everybody. I didn't expect to speak now because I don't see where this is on the agenda, but it does relate to what other people are saying. I'm here tonight to represent an alternative view to the comments about removing books from our libraries in the Glenbard high schools. First of all, if you don't want your children to read certain books, don't have them check them out. Secondly,
Listen to everybody, so it would be kind.
Hey,
I think.
let's just look.
secondly, there is a diverse group of students that attend the Glenbard high schools. As we talked about earlier tonight with the principal from East, and that diversity should be reflected in the books in the library. One of the most powerful, affirming experiences for students is to read and see themselves represented in literature. As an English language arts teacher, I see this I see this every day, how important it is to have Black writers, gay writers, women writers, Muslim writers. I'm talking about reading books that represent all faiths and characters that have no faith practice, characters of all races, genders, sexualities, heritages, economic backgrounds. Public school education is for all, not just some, and the library should be a reflection of that, as well as a source for ideas and not a place for censorship. Throughout history, groups that have been deemed minorities have been censored, and we need to stand up against those practices regardless of who the minority is today. We are trying to teach students to think for themselves. Restricting ideas and discouraging freedom of thought undermines that primary function of education. We should be banning hate, not books. As a Christian minister once asked at a previous District 87 board meeting, what would fear do? And what would love do? Thank you.
We're on this one now.
Good evening. Read widely, listen openly, speak peace. I agree. Where have we seen this? I volunteer as an after-school tutor at Glencrest and see a very diverse group of kids in the program. Our school libraries should provide materials which speak to all students, materials to which students can connect, materials presenting information and characters which resonate with students and speak to their experiences. In our Glenbard district, we strive to teach students to think for themselves and to be lifelong learners. If we restrict or limit ideas and discourage freedom of thought, we will undermine this primary function of education. As school board member Reverend Shannon mentioned earlier, it was crucial for his son to see people like him represented on the faculty and by deduction in the books and curriculum offered in our schools. And as a previous speaker mentioned, our board should represent the community. We all need to feel valued. We all need to be seen and heard, especially the most vulnerable members of our society. Our students are on their way to becoming members of the wider community, and our schools should prepare and enable them to enter into society with an open mind, an inclusive perspective, and a non-judgmental point of view. Books are a great resource to achieve this goal. Read widely, listen openly, speak peace. This great mantra graces the doorway of this library. I hope you continue to follow it.
Thank you.
Kristen Stevens.
Which one am I using?
This guy?
Yeah.
Okay.
That one looks good.
Kristen Seaman. I have 3 teenage girls at Glenbard South. Last board meeting, I wasn't able to come in person, but I will tell you, I always have you guys in my ear, whether it's at a soccer game or it was over at the volleyball awards night. I was able to tune in, and I tuned in about the time that I was listening to Cedra read from one of these books that just gives me great concern. I don't know that there is a place in terms of diversity with our student group that involves pornography. I do agree that we need to create a respectful, learning, safe environment that represents all of our community, all of our students, and all the diversity. I don't think there is a place for pornography with that. And I do have concerns in regards to decision to keep these books in place. It's clearly a violation of at least a half a dozen policies, board policies. I think if that's going to be the case, there's going to need to be some serious revisions of the board policies, because it's clearly specified that this type of material is a violation. The other concern that I do have is in regards to how this gets addressed. My understanding is in order to have a reconsideration of any of the books that are in these libraries, that I have to, or any community member would have to read every one of these books. You would have to fill out a form specifying exactly what you feel is offensive, pictures. So you will have to subject yourselves to reading these books in their entirety in order to be able to even have a conversation with the principal or librarian about it, or the board, whoever that might be, in order to have those books removed. I personally don't want to put that stuff in my head. I don't want my girls to have this in their heads, and I don't want to have to put it in my own head. So I think that needs to be reconsidered as well in regards to what it is the procedures are for removing the books. The other concern I have is how in the world did these books get approved in the first place? My understanding is these books have to be read, I would assume in their entirety, by the librarian and need to be approved by each principal. Did that in fact happen? Did each one of these books, and there were a number of them that were listed off at the last meeting, did each of those books actually have a fair vetting process that went through? If I have to read that and put myself through that, I would want to know that these individuals that are responsible for that decision did the same thing.
Thank you.
My name is Derek Crenshaw, father of 3 students that went through Glenbard, and we have 1 more that's homeschooled right now. We moved to Wheaton for better education for our kids in a better environment. And these books don't provide that for anyone. I'm kind of triggered by someone mentioning the fact that we need more diversity, like Blacks, Muslims, and different authors. That's fine. This is pornography. I don't want to see heterosexual pornography, homosexual pornography. It doesn't help with reading and writing and academics. The public library has an adult section where these kids, if their parents want to check that stuff out. Our iPads, if you put any of this stuff on your iPads, it will trigger those iPads. Okay, so we need to get back to reading, writing, and math. That's education. We have a lot of diversity. The kids are protected in the schools. I'll tell you that. We do protect the kids. We are open to all kids. We have all different type of clubs for kids, but these books and the pornography in these books, a lot of teachers, and a lot of people say, why do we even have these books? I don't want to see boys kissing in the hallway. We don't want to see girls kissing in the hallway. We don't want to see any of that type of stuff going on. We just want to get back to the basics. And these books do not provide the basic education for the kids. Okay, so I don't understand why we have these books in the library. We need to get back to the basics, get back to reading, writing, and math, bring our grades up. Our proficiency rate isn't where it used to be. We need to get back to that. Okay, and don't include pornography and race. You know, it has nothing to do with being Black, Muslim, or Hispanic, or Asian. These are pornographic books, and they don't need to be in a high school for the children. They're 18 and under. They're not adults yet. We need to protect them until they get out of the high schools. The public high school, public libraries, they can go there and get that stuff if their parents want that for them. And you can't say, well, I don't want my kids to check that stuff out. Kids are kids. They're going to find this material and they're going to get into it because they're not supervised all the time when they're at the schools. Thank you.
Good evening, Lita Samuda, taxpayer in the Glenbard District 87 and a parent of a graduate, and I'm also a graduate of Glenbardies. I put the board back up here too, because I know some of the board members were not here at the meeting last time. And I also wanted to say that there is a picture in the genderqueer book that is not diversity showing a blowjob happening, okay? What the image is here, the graphic sexual language that is in these books, that's not diversity, okay? It's pornography. It's not, it does not belong in our schools. But I asked the policy committee this evening to put on the agenda to take action on the violations of the policies in regards to the obscene books. Genderqueer, All Boys Are Blue, Flamer, and This Book is Gay. Dr. Larson had mentioned that in policy 6230, which is the request for reconsideration of library resource materials. We should not have to fill out a form to reconsider these obscene books because anyone who has eyes and ears knows they are inappropriate for our children. We should not have to plead with this board or principals or librarians to remove these books and others like them. Look at these images. Look at the sexual descriptions in these books. Not appropriate, okay? So please stand up to this evil that you are approving to be in our high school libraries. Thank you.
I'm Cedra Crenshaw. Only someone who is grooming a child for sex would put pornographic, sexually graphic, obscene, vulgar material in the hands of a minor child. That's not diversity, that's child abuse. And let's also think about all of the special needs students in the schools who are in no way prepared socially and emotionally to deal with this type of material. I think someone mentioned, what if a kid checks out one of these books and, they pass it to a friend? Kids are prone to do things like that. Okay, so we have to think about all the kids, including our special needs kids. I filled out one of those forms, request for reconsideration 6.230. I sent it to all the principals and the librarians. Principal Santee got back to me, but she told me I'd have to read this material in full in order for my complaint to be considered. Now, I'm going to read to you what I wrote to her. I'm not going to do that. That goes against my religion, and I have a First Amendment right to practice my religion, which includes not consuming obscene or pornographic material. I'm going to tell you the same thing I told the policy committee, and no one here can force me to do that. She cited the language at the top of that form. That language needs to be removed. No one should have to read all of that material if it goes against their conscience or their religion. However, Ms. Santee, she did not have a problem with a building principal or librarian breaking the law, the Children's Internet Protection Act, which you cite in your materials, as well as at least 4 board policies, 7310, 825, 910, 910 AP3, which prevented the librarians and the principals from purchasing this obscene material in the first place. Those purchases on the face were illegal. And I asked her some questions. Has she and the librarians, have they read this material in its entirety? Have you on the board, have you read this material? If so, why did they purchase these books? If not, when do they plan to do so? Does the district filter this type of material on the iPads under SIPA, the Children's Internet Protection Act? Could you post these photographs on the website or the excerpts? Could you post it on the walls in this school? And again, what is your written justification for permitting this material to be purchased, distributed, and accessed by students in this district, knowing it violates policy and the law? And I think many parents here tonight and concerned people, they've called for action. We don't want to do this back and forth. We want action on this. I think that's reasonable. Are we going to get some action on this? I think that the community deserves that. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we have gone through all public participation, so if anyone still is wanting to say something, this is it. Otherwise, we're closing public participation and moving on. Okay, so